So when you look at this part right here, that's intercept form. All right. And on intercept form, this is how you find the different parts to it. There's intercept form. We also called it factored form. All right. And this is how you get the different parts of that. Okay. All right. So we'll be coming back to that here in just a minute. All right. Diagram shows parabolic archway with base 10 meters, height is 6.4. Let's see, at 6.4, I'm sorry, the archway is 6 meters wide. So at this, when this is 6.4 here, this distance right here is, or this height is 6. So the question is, write down the coordinates of these points. So we want the coordinates of A, coordinates of B, and the coordinates of C. All right, so Aiden, what would be the coordinates of A? We know this whole base is 10. Yep. Okay, so -5. Right. And then C is going to be 50, or B is going to be 50. Okay. Mackenzie, the coordinates of C. Where's that located? Does she have headphones in?
Sorry, I didn't hear you.
Oh, what are the coordinates of C?
Oh, 6.4.
Okay, so is from here, remember, from here to B is 5. So it can't be, this can't be bigger than 5 right here. So what do you know about this length? If the whole thing's 6, right? So the x coordinate of this thing is going to be 3. Okay, and what's the y coordinate? No? Right. Well, all right, now when we do this, guys, if it says write the equation, okay, so to write an equation in intercept form, what we have to do is follow this set of instructions right here. The axis of symmetry is halfway between the x-intercepts P and Q. So the line of symmetry is P plus Q divided by 2. Right? So I'm going to do that here. P is going to be, I'm going to let P equal -5, and I'm going to let Q equal +5. So the axis of symmetry is going to be P plus Q divided by 2, which is going to be 0. Which makes sense. That's right where it is. So this is -5 plus 5 divided by 2 equals 0. Okay, now, actually, we probably didn't even need to do that because we know P and Q. So I'm going to get rid of this. Kind of jumped the gun there. I'm just going to plug in those numbers. So I'm going to substitute in the values of P and Q. -5 for P and 5 Q. So I'm going to get y equals a x minus negative 5 x minus 5. So I didn't need the axis of symmetry on this one. Okay, now how do you find A? So now we got to be able to find what A is. And once we have A, then we got the equation. How do we do it? Right now, this has got too many variables in it. It's got an X, a Y, and an A. I can only solve things that have one variable. So what variables do I got to substitute in for? X, and if I substitute a number in for X, then I'm going to have two variables. I want just one variable. Yeah, so to find A, we need a third point. You need the coordinates of a third point, which we have right here. Okay, you need the coordinates of a third point, such as the one that we just figured out. So I plug those in. I'm gonna put 3 in for X and 6.4 in for Y, and now do the math. Right, Tommy? Okay, 6.4, A, 3, 3. Okay, 6.4 equals, and I got 8 and negative 2. 4 equals negative 16A. Now divide both sides by negative 16. Okay. Six 6.4 divided by, we end up with 4/10. Negative. Okay, so now I can write out my equation. Y equals 4, and then x plus 5, x minus 5. And you could write 0.4 as a fraction. So negative 0.4, that's the same as 4/10 or 2/5. So these are the exact same thing. All right, now you're going to use that equation to answer this last question. What's the height of the archway 1.5 meters from either end? Okay, so we want to go 1.5 meters this way. And 1.5 meters this way. and figure out what's the height. Okay. We want to figure out what that is. So how would you do that? Using these equations. What? Okay. And what am I gonna make it? Right. So if I did 1.5, that would be this way. But since I want to go in 1.5, I'm going to take 5. So my x coordinate is going to be 5 subtract 1.5. That's one x coordinate. And then the other x coordinate, this would be the one on the right. And then the one on the left would be -5 plus 1.5. So 3.5 and negative. So now I'm going to just drop those in and calculate what the height is. So for this one, I would have y equals plus 5 minus 5. Now we just do the math. 3.5, oops. Well, no, I only type in 1. So I'm going to put this one in for each one of these x's. So yeah, you only do one x at a time. And plus, once we get this y value, we know it's going to be the same on the other side. Okay, so that's a good question. You don't put in 3.5 and a negative 3.5. Okay, you choose one of these. Okay, and now you just do that math. 3.5, and this is 1.5. Negative. Okay, and then we run that through our calculator. 4 times 1.5, 5.1. So we know that this right here is going to be negative 3.5 and 5.1. This one's going to be positive 3.5. So the height from either end is 5.1. So on this step here, guys, substitute either 3.5 or negative 3.5, but not both. Just one of them. And there's your solution. Okay, now find the maximum height of the archway. Well, that's going to be our vertex. It's going to be the y coordinate of our vertex. So now we need to do the vertex. Okay, so that's this part here. Find halfway between the two intercepts. We already did it, was 0. So this part was P plus Q divided by 2, which turns out to be 0. And then this one, we're going to substitute x equals 0 into the equation that we got. Right here. Then you run that through your calculator, and that's going to be your maximum height. 4 times 10. So our maximum height in this case is going to be 10 meters. So you don't write down the coordinates, you write down just the y coordinate. Okay, questions on that? So each of the homework problems, guys, is set up to mirror the examples that we did in class the last 2 days. Okay, so 1, 2, 4, and 5. Okay, 4 is just like what we did today. All right, so you got time today to work on this if you haven't done it already. Okay, and I'm going to work on grades. So you folks at home, that's going to be it for the notes today, and then the assignment. Go to Google Classroom, and I'll have a Jamboard there for you to paste the assignment to. Today's Google class to paste this homework. Yeah.